Hey friends, welcome back to Don't Waste the Chaos. I'm your host, Kerri Roberts. I'm a former HR executive turned consultant, farm girl turned business strategist, and a woman who deeply believes that growth happens in the messy middle. Today's episode is one I wished I'd had a few months ago, or maybe even a couple of years ago. And that is, we are focusing on how do you know when it's time to pivot in your business? Maybe things are working, kind of. You're busy, revenue is coming in, but inside it's complicated. Maybe it's draining. Maybe it's unsustainable. And worse, you're not sure if your clients even fully understand what it is that you do. If that hit home, you're not alone. I have been there too. And today I'm going to walk you through a couple of things. The first being how to recognize the signs of a needed change. The second are the frameworks that I've used to bring clarity. And then the third, I'm going to give you a little insider peek on what it looks like inside of my own business right now. So let's jump in. Let's start out by talking about the hidden costs of complexity. So many business owners, especially service providers, build in the chaos. We say yes to opportunities, we experiment, we stretch, but if we're not careful, we create a business model that only works when we overwork. The more people rely on you, the more you start to feel like the bottleneck. Now, I am in an elite coaching program with Dan Martell. If you haven't heard of him, I talk about his book on here all the time. I'll link it in the show notes. But as Dan Martell says in his book, Buy Back Your Time, you don't grow a business, you grow a team that grows your business. And if your business isn't clear, your team can't grow it because they don't know what to grow. Complexity kills clarity, and clarity is what fuels scale. So how do you know when it's time to pivot? Here are a few signs it's time to pause and reassess. The first is you're offering too many things and clients don't know what to ask for. Or you're custom quoting everything and burning out trying to deliver. Or your team is confused on what the core thing really is. You're getting inquiries and don't want to take any more. Or you're delivering at a high level, but revenue doesn't reflect it. And lastly, you've outgrown your original offers, your original audience, or your capacity. So if you said yes to one or two or more of these, you're probably due for a clarity reset. So let's talk about the frameworks that I use for clarity. This is where I combine a couple of my favorite minds, and I listen to a ton of podcasts. I watch a lot of videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see all the books behind me. These are the ones that I've actually read and reread. This is where I take all of that information and kind of compile it. But today I'm going to focus on a couple of guys that I've learned from specifically when it comes to clarity in my business. The first is Donald Miller. If you don't know about Donald Miller, he's got a great podcast. He's written several books, but he teaches us that people don't buy the best products. They buy the ones they understand the fastest. Your business needs to pass the quote unquote grunt test. If a stranger looks at your site, can they grunt back at you what you do? Meanwhile, Dan Martell, like I mentioned, reminds us that the goal isn't to do more. It's to buy back time and reinvest it in what moves the business forward. So here's a 4-step clarity framework that I've used. Pivot it to your uses. It's going to help. So the first thing that I have done is I've named my ideal client. I've gotten crystal clear. Who do I really want to work with? And now looking at who I could serve, who I'm best positioned to serve right now, and who I'd rather be serving. So I've recently had a 2-year anniversary of my HR firm, Salt and Light Advisors. And so I had a 3-day retreat. I got away with my team. We went to the Four Seasons in St. Louis. It's lovely. And I highly recommend that you get away to work on your business and not always work in your business. And while we were doing this, we did a team dreams exercise. We also did a branding exercise. And if you'd like to see either of those, just message me the word pivot on social media or leave a comment wherever you're watching the show, the word pivot, and we'll get that information over to you. But what we did is we looked at who we really want to work with, now who we could serve, and who we're best positioned to serve. The second thing we do is define the promise. So what is the transformation that you deliver in your business? And then say it in one sentence. For example, we make HR easy for growing teams who need clarity and compliance. That's a simple statement, right? We make HR easy for growing teams who need clarity and compliance. Another way to put it is we say, hit the HR easy button and work with us. Next thing we did is simplify the path. So do you offer too many doors? And I can tell you, we were offering too many doors. We need to consolidate. You need to group. You need to create containers or packages that make the decision easier for your buyer. They need to be able to say yes or no, not what the heck. And then the last thing you do is buy back your time. So cut or delegate anything that's not revenue driving, brand building, or soul nourishing. You're allowed to say no to good things to protect the great ones. So let's run through this again, my framework. First, you name your ideal client. Then you define the promise. Then you simplify the path. Then you buy back your time. So here's what this is looking like in my business, my HR firm right now. This has played out recently, and we're still actually clarifying this. And I couldn't be more energized about my business. And here I am just past the 2-year mark, and I feel like it's day one all over again. It's really exciting. The problem was this: we had amazing clients, but our offers were too complex. Everything was custom made. And most things were either one-off services or fractional retainers, but no clear map on how people could engage with us. Not to mention, everything was set up one-to-one. And there's only one me. So essentially, I was like, okay, well, for me to be able to scale, I just have to hire more people. And so they can duplicate me. But when we went away to our team retreat, one of my team members was like, hey, I want to tell you something. People want to work with you. So you can train other people to do what you do. They're not going to be you, but they could try. And then you have to manage them. Or we could do something else. And what I heard her saying was, I need to create like a more sustainable framework for me and my business to where everything is not so dang custom. And I need to offer a one-to-many, because working with me one-on-one is expensive. I'm not going to lie. Like, if you want one-on-one time with me, or me solely focused on your business, it's going to cost, because I can only do so many of those. But if I can meet with a group at a time, and I can do a teaching on HR, like a foundational area of HR, and then we can do a Q&A with many business leaders. They hear the teaching, and then they go through business leaders or HR folks or office managers, whoever, depending on the audience. And then we can do a Q&A on what's going on in their business, and then the group can learn from each other. So excited about that. So here are the questions that I asked. What do I love delivering the most? What do our best clients actually need? The clients that I love working with and for. Where am I over delivering without getting paid accordingly? Small business folks, you know you're doing this. And then where am I doing everything custom instead of leaning on proven frameworks? So here's what we've changed. We have grouped monthly offerings into a couple of things. We've got 3 primary offerings now. The first tier are communities. So we're rolling out the Circle, which is for women, focused on growth and expansion for women. We are offering an HR mentorship package, and that is for your more green HR person or your office manager who's handling HR, maybe doesn't have any formal experience or education in that area, so we can come alongside them. We're also building an HR in a box. This is going to be like small business leaders who want to DIY their HR. And then we're also offering the Leap, which is going to be focused on individuals who are still working in corporate that want to take the leap into what I have done and I've been doing for 2 years. And I'm literally just letting them peek behind the curtain, giving them my entire playbook over a 3-month time span. We renamed and repackaged all of our project-based services secondary to that. So the first tier was we created communities. So that way we can do the one-to-many. The second was we looked at our packages and we looked at all of our project-based services and we put them in clear people models. So that way we've got packages that they can do instead of like, do you want a compensation data study? Well, who is asking me for that? Most people honestly do not know what that is. I'm doing an HR audit and then I'm telling them they need a compensation data study. But most people, most business owners aren't like, you know what I need? I need a compensation data study. And so what I'm doing is creating packages to where I will do a job description audit, or I'll build all your job descriptions. And then I will take a look at what your current needs are from a hiring perspective. And then I'll also build out a compensation data study. So that way we can take a look at what everyone's currently getting paid, where they could or should be paid based on the 10th, 25th, mean, 75th, and 90th percentiles. And then I'll put together a compensation strategy from you moving forward, including what you can bucket for annual raises. That's just one project bucket. But like, what you know is, you know that you need clarity for your people and you're having a hard time recruiting and retaining. So then there's the bundle that I would recommend that you utilize so we can make some ground up. But we weren't doing that, right? We were just offering all these one-off products and people didn't know what they didn't know. They didn't know what to ask for. So we're describing what the problem is. And now we've got project-based service bundles under those. And then the third thing we've done, so we did the communities, we cleaned up the project-based services, and now we're also clarifying the fractional support. We've got 4 service levels that we used to offer. We're still going to offer those. We're updating our pricing because this is one-to-one. And we're making sure it reflects the time spent, but we're also clarifying what they get with that. So that way it's not also custom made. It's really exciting. After all of that, we've created a service map so clients can instantly know what we do and how to work with us. And the result is this. Initially, it's more clarity for my team, more confidence in my pricing, and best of all, more freedom to serve from overflow instead of survival. So friend, if you're feeling like your business is bloated or too reactive or hard to explain, you're not failing, you're growing. Sometimes chaos is the clue that it's time to evolve. So don't wait until you're burned out to bring clarity, and don't wait until the pipeline dries up to realign your offers. And don't waste the chaos. It's pointing you towards something better. Now, if you want to see what a simplified, clarified business model looks like, you can head to saltlightadvisors.com. We've got our full service map up right now. And if you're ready to bring clarity to your own business, shoot me a message. I'd love to help you walk through your pivot. In addition to that, you can go to kerrimroberts.com. That's exactly how you spell my name. So Kerri is Kerri. M as in Michelle, Roberts.com. And that is the pivot that we made away from, like, we used to have saltlightadvisors.com. We used to have saltandlightforwomen.com. We used to have don'twastethechaos.com. So we've taken the individual things that I, as a business professional, do. We've put that on my personal brand, kerrimroberts.com. And then we've taken all of the HR stuff and the Salt and Light for Women focused on the leadership aspect. And I've added all of that to Salt and Light Advisors. And I'm telling you, we are so pumped. And I want this for you too. After 2 years of business, I'm so grateful that I've made this pivot, but I know it won't be my last. This is something that every business owner should be auditing and observing in themselves and their team members to know when it's time to make a change. So until next time, folks, stay faithful, stay grounded, and don't waste the chaos.